I'm sure you felt the energy and the emotion that can only come from anime. The over-the-top characters, the theatrics, the desires, the ambition, the discipline. All of it just has me on the edge of my seat. When Asta faces a challenge, I feel the excitement, not only because of the action, but because I know he came from nothing. A magicless commoner from a backwater village who was rewarded because of his unshakable philosophy of never giving up. But here's the real question. Why just watch when I can become? To be honest, in the past, I only liked anime. I would watch it, feel the energy, enjoy it, and move to another task or show. It was a passive activity with no depth. This all changed when I started to make some positive changes in my life. And the first change was starting my fitness journey. I gave up the unhealthy food I was eating and trained every day. I started to lose fat and gain some muscle. With improvements in my physique and experience from training, I began to have a newfound appreciation for what is one of the first anime I watched, Dragon Ball Z. Yes, everyone knows Goku. He's one of the go-to anime references for hard work, training, and single-minded dedication to pursue a goal. Before, I was like the average guy who watched him while sitting on a chair and eating some chips, saying I was a fan. A liar, that's what I was. How could I call myself a fan of Goku if I wasn't training? How could I call myself a fan of any of the characters I loved if I didn't try to embody their values? How can I call myself a fan of Asta if I give up on my goals at the first sign of difficulty? How can I call myself a fan of Asagi if I don't evolve after experiencing new things? How can I call myself a fan of Lelouch or Light Yagami if I don't think strategically? I always loved anime. It was so energetic and out of this world. The characters were rays of light in the bland world I lived in. A world without magic, without excitement. But that all changed when I started to make myself better. No longer were these characters idols. They were role models. Thanks to Asta, phrases like, "I'm not done!" or, "My magic is never giving up," have been etched in my mind. And I can't forget the training motivation. I have to work my way up to doing freestanding one-handed handstand push-ups. Asagi is inspiring in his own right. Asagi was the definition of a support character at the beginning, an average character with no particular talents. But he was able to overcome more talented, more skilled characters like Baro and Nagi through his ability to adapt, his ability to constantly reinvent himself, removing the parts of himself that hold him back and add new parts that will serve him better. I might not be a Saiyan like Goku or able to use anti-magic like Asta, but I definitely can reinvent myself. There's one other skill that Asagi developed that was instrumental to his success, a skill that you and I can develop as well, a skill highlighted by Lelouch and Light Yagami. That's the skill of foresight. It may seem like a godlike ability from watching the anime, the way it seems like Asagi, Lelouch, and Light can just see the entire field they're playing on. I know the truth comes from being aware of your environment, knowing about the strengths and weaknesses of everyone in that environment, and performing mental scenarios of possible events, among other things. I practice this sometimes when I go to new places or even just going to the gym. Being aware of my surroundings and thinking about what could happen just makes life more fun. But what about video games? Where do they fit into all of this? Video games, at least the ones I play, have similar stories and compelling characters. They just go a step further and let me play out scenarios. In other words, they give me a glimpse of how life could be if I was the character that I wish to be. For example, I recently played Detroit Become Human. It's a last generation game about androids. I have a newfound appreciation for cinematic storytelling games. Though I wasn't able to create my own character, I was able to interact with a world from the perspective of 3 different androids. There was a good amount of player choice and the consequences of my actions were realistic. Of course, I chose the aggressive, non-peaceful route at first. I saw my allies die as I pursued my self-righteous goals, ultimately achieving them, but at what cost? I won't go into any spoilers, but there were more factors in play and other consequences. They should really make a sequel, but you get the point of the power of video games. passion, inspiration, being exposed to various ways to look at the world is why I'll never give up anime and video games. Even if most of the people in the self-improvement space say I should. So what about you? Are you ready to stop watching from the sidelines and start living out your fantasies? Let's not just dream about strength, strategy, and heroism. Let's embody it. Join me on this journey of self-discovery and growth. Let's be the heroes of our own stories.